I want to share a little bit about my experience in the Artisan Development Program, and then I'm going to do a carving demonstration inspired by an amazing Swedish woodworker named Joge Sundqvist, who, if you were lucky enough to be here for the Unplugged performance, he did a carving, slideshow, talk, techno axe thing that blew my mind and inspired me. So, yeah, but anyways, a little bit about my own backstory first I wanted to share with y'all. And I wrote it up there as well, but there's so many folks I thought that maybe we couldn't all see the tiny text. But I first got into making things. I think it's pretty fair to credit my Grandma Kate. And my Grandma Kate wasn't able to be here tonight, but her youngest brother's here. So my great uncle came from Vermont, surprised me as of 3 days ago. So he's on that side of the wall. My Grandma Kate is a sculptor and welder, and ever since I was about 6 or 7, I remember we made like a perfect little crib for my dolls out of wood, and she gave me a jigsaw. I'm like, okay, Grandma. And then by age 8, she put an oxyacetylene torch in my hand and a plasma cutter, and we were making metal sculptures together. And she'd make me lay things out. You can't just wing it, Angela. So, okay, we'd make it to scale. I was like, did not have the patience for it. But I'm so glad that she invested that time in me and knew the value of investing in her grandkid, you know? And now, years later, it's amazing to be here because I didn't expect to be an artist per se. I really started woodworking as an educator. I worked at a summer camp, first as an assistant to my grandma. She was teaching metalwork to middle school age girls in Vermont. She was like, okay, you can be my assistant. Like, show them how to pound this copper. And I was like, I can do that. Like, here you go, little kids, you know. And then the next year I worked as a camp counselor at that place called Rosie's Girls. And I worked there for like 5 summers, and I saw like in 3 weeks how these girls would just transform from really nervous to jumping up and down empowered, like, I used to chop saw, and I also found it had an impact on me. Like, when I went home, and I remember, I have this distinct memory, I was on a boat with my grandfather and my dad, and the engine stopped working. We're out on Lake Champlain, and usually I just go, oops, engine, that's not my thing. And I was like, wait, I want to troubleshoot. And that was definitely because of my experience working at this camp. So I was sort of at that, a few years later, I was like, I want to learn woodworking so I can teach it to kids and help them have the same experience that I got to have growing up. And that, like, fast forward brings me to where I am now. And so I've been teaching a lot of the time, teaching boat building to high school students in the Twin Cities for the past 3 years. But it all started for me really at North House as an intern. That was like my launch into woodworking and crafts and education. So it was amazing to be able to come back and be given the privilege to cultivate my own artistic voice in this residency program, which I never thought I would have the opportunity to do. And also get to meet and expand my community of people through travel. I've been to North Carolina, Port Townsend, Washington, Rockport, Maine, Sweden, Norway, and the Faroe Islands, studying and meeting with people and craftspeople and going to museums, and it's just been incredible. And to think that it all comes out of this small town and this small school is just amazing, the sort of reach that this school has. So I want to thank everyone at North House for helping to facilitate such an incredible program and for keeping this school alive and growing and just sustained. It's an amazing community to be a part of. One of someone was asking, like, what was the best thing about being in the residency? I was like, I can't do it. But I think two things that come to mind are the mentorship aspect of the program with Beth Ireland. She has been a professional architectural woodturner her whole career, but in her 50s was like, I'm gonna get my MFA in sculpture. Ah! And so she did sculpture and art, and it couldn't be a better mentor. She spent the past 10 years teaching and also making things on commission, because she's creative, artistic, highly skilled technically, and loves teaching. And so the mentorship really was super formative for me personally, because one of the things she's passionate about is helping people find their creative voice. And one of the pieces of advice she has is that you should take different parts of yourself, different parts, different interests, and put them all together into one thing and see what comes out of that. And to not get too fixated on looking at what other people are doing in the same medium as you. So if you're a woodturner, don't just look at other woodturners. Like, look at painters, look at dancers, look at people doing all sorts of other things, or go look at a bunch of rocks, whatever it is. And so that advice has been really formative for me, and like something I like to think about, and it has impacted most of the work that's on display here. Initially I was going to show everything I made, the whole residency, and then I was like, no, I just want to show the pieces that really feel like they're my voice and my expression, and that's what's displayed or hanging here tonight. Yeah, I've always been interested in curves, and that's always been sort of my approach. When Andy Keith helped me build these 90-degree walls, and it was my first time doing 2x4 construction. I was like, this is incredible! So many 90 degrees, you know? But most of the time, I just make singular things that have curves in them. So that's sort of what I've been drawn to, and that throughout the residency has been consistent and just sort of evolved from turning bowls on a lathe to carving dough bowls to finding branches and turning them into new things. So that's how I decided on I didn't consciously decide the title of the show. I was just talking to my mentor Beth, like, what do I call it? Do I call it like branching out or something? And we're like, that could work. And then I was carving, and I'm like, well, you know, I'm always just chasing the curve, so whatever. And she's like, that's the show. Yeah, you're right. Okay, great. So that's the sort of origin story of the show. But I just want to see if there's anything else I wanted to make sure I spoke to. One other thing that has been wonderful during this residency, well, when I moved back here, I'd been an intern here in 2013. When I came back this time, I was like, you know, I love living in Grand Marais, but the only thing I really missed, like I felt it, was not dancing. There's nowhere to go out dancing, and I can't do it. I can't just dance in my room. So when I moved back here last August, I was like, I guess I need to start a dance night. And so me and Elise Kyla, we started organizing a monthly dance night at the Community Center Log Cabin, which was built in the 40s by the WPA. Like, it's amazing. And it started out with like 3 people at a time, like maybe 2, and then maybe 5, and then, you know. And the first night we were like, success is not measured by turnout. The success is measured by how much fun we have. And so we would just be going, you know. And it's just like, for me, dance is an important part of who I am, and it was really great getting to have this community, intergenerational dance night. And this past so we've been doing it for a year now, and this past Halloween, like 40 or 50 people showed up, and it was incredible. And it was just like, you know, one of those mini like dream come true. So tonight I wanted to, like Beth advised, combine different parts of myself. So I'm going to do a little bit of a carving demo, because I want you all to sort of get a sense of where does that dough bowl come from, the one on the card. But also want to just bring in the dancing side of my life, because it brings me great joy to dance. And yeah, so I've got, this is a blue jumpsuit. Apparently my dad threw this on the day the day my mom went into labor. Was a huge snowstorm in rural Japan where I was born. And so he threw on this jumpsuit to go dig out the car, and now I wear it. So So yeah, we can get some lights, and if someone could turn off these lights as well as that little, what's that type of light called?
That's not
Disco ball.
Yeah.